Hi lovelies, welcome to Blue Night part 2, and we're on the 11th day, so the day of spectral dissonance, cognitive dissonance, and releasing what is no longer serving us. So here we are, and yesterday we had a portal day, yellow planetary human. Today is Saturday the 12th, yesterday was Friday the 11th. So seeing what was manifest for us on planet Earth as a human being, and also an Akashic record day. So this Blue Night Wavespell is about being the conscious dreamer, and the ability for the conscious dreamer to make conscious choices and let go of simply following an unconscious habit or pattern or behaviour, ancestral pattern as well, to become clear and free in order to create heaven on earth, which is what today is about. The human being who is choosing the Buddha path. So what you've experienced over the last few days, number 9 as well, blue solar monkey. Remember, number 9 is the gateway to the next level. And we're building now to the spring equinox on the 20th of March. And today is a very, very special day astrologically. So we've got the sun is conjunct Neptune at 22 degrees, which is an amazing master builder energy number. And today is really tuning into how to create heaven on earth. So you know over the last 10 days what's felt heavenly, what's felt powerful, and what hasn't. And this is the key for you on a personal level. This is what it's all about. So today is such a magical day for tuning in to this master builder energy and the ability to let go of the old patterns. Historically speaking as well, we've got the Ides of March coming up on the 15th, and back in Roman Empire days, it was a time when debts were settled, and it was changed forever with the assassination of Julius Caesar. And the Shakespeare play, of course, about that, Beware the Ides of March. So today being on the 12th, so we've got th, 13th, 14th, 15th. So we start the new wave spell on the 15th. Moon in Cancer today. And so again, this energy is about the home, it's about childhood, it's about the 4th house. Remember, we're just repeating these patterns all the time of what we came in to heal and evolve with. So have you really understood that over this cycle so far? Because now we're seeing what's manifest. So seeing what began on the 1st of September about mindsets, beliefs, the reality, Virgo. And of course, we've got the full moon in Virgo coming up on the 17th as well. So let's just do the 22 degrees. So it may have been a challenging few days, because remember, on this journey, we're constantly being tested as to whether we can stay in our center or not. So it's very, very, very valuable to know what takes us out of our center. Here we go, Pisces 22. A blacksmith creating an ornate garden gate. Hard substance is impossibly tough if you fall into letting it be that. But is the prefect basis, I think that should be perfect basis, if you're willing to make it so. All the resistances, crystallizations, dysfunction, and foundational dissonances, it's just mind blowing, isn't it, are great excuses to stop, or immense occasions to start. You get laid low if you do not know what to do with the stuff of this world. But if you have learned the subtle craft of world making, you're best off meeting up against the hardest places and discovering how to turn them completely around. The exceedingly demanding guild of those who dig into the depth and draw forth beauty and infinite power from the brutal and heavy realities which otherwise seem impenetrable. A stubbornly hard-working, impossible to discourage craft of reworking the primal soil. Most unproductively, mostly learning how, forever, paying your dues, never quite getting it right, until there comes a day when even the obdurate bends to the inner design, when the conviction is complete. There is hope, of course. So remembering that for the alchemist, for the person who is doing the inner work, who is really working consciously with all of this stuff and taking full responsibility, radical responsibility for our life here on planet Earth, this is the mastery process that we're going through. So I'm just going to share the cards with you today. Okay, so we've got the Adventurer's Quest, and if you see the cross, this is the cross in the chart. Okay, so you've got your AC/DC, your IC/MC, and Google those if you don't know what that means. So in other words, your ascendant, descendant, what you've come here, the consciousness that you've come to learn, which was on the event horizon when you incarnated. So it's the new consciousness that you are shaping within yourself through letting go, releasing dissonance, spectral, of what is no longer serving you. The IC is your what I call your stairway to heaven. So your IC is in your 4th house. It's your childhood pattern, age 4, for example, ascending to the mid-heaven. So to be in that heavenly place of the mid-heaven, the top of your chart. And on the other side, we've got the descendant, which is in the house of relationships, what you're letting go in relationship. Remember, this is about how we've learned to relate, how we've learned to believe who we are from people who were often lost, not in the light, dealing with trauma. And so if you imagine the things that are going on now historically, where we are not at peace in the world, and look at those patterns in those countries, look at those patterns in Europe, look at those patterns in the US. They've gone on for thousands of years. And so that biology, that belief system is incarnate in every human being. Most founding cultures originally that came from Europe to the Americas have all these European cultural patterns. And then you've got people who were already here, and you've got people who have been affected by all of those immigrants coming in. And, you know, if you look at the original patterns of how that happened, the colonial patterns. So it would be very difficult for any human being to be untouched by these extremely harsh patterns. And that's what we're looking to evolve today. So we're looking to heal that on a personal level. Remember, if we don't heal that, that code is still running. So it is really, really important to focus on the healing. And I'll put a link up for that in more depth. We've got the 10 of discs, which is wealth. And again, we're looking at some very wealthy individuals on the planet who are controlling situations. This imbalance comes from an inner place always. So we can seek with the North Node in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus to bring light to where we look to create safety through money, through wealth. But the truth is healing how we've not felt safe. That's the key, isn't it? You know, because it doesn't matter how much money or wealth we have, if we've got low self-esteem, if we don't feel safe, if we haven't healed that childhood trauma, and we've all got it, then no amount of money will change that. And those patterns of relationship will continue to hold that same vibration. Remember, this is all about raising our vibration through healing. And the core of that is this Saturn in Aquarius, Venus and Mars now in Aquarius. So very strong new foundation stones coming in for this new age to be emotionally free of these old, distorted, wounding patterns. Fear. Black Moon Lilith is now at 26 degrees. So again, you may have experienced lots of fear coming up in the last few days. Again, all fears are based on the past because that's where they were rooted, that's where they were created. And the more that we understand our ancestral patterns, the more we understand how we're the next generation living that lineage of fear and survival issue. And of course, some people on the planet having that as very much a reality right now. But most of us truly are not having that experience, although we may be challenged by things, increasing prices, everything that's happened over the last couple of years in terms of health and restrictions and controls being imposed and belief systems being imposed as well. So all of this is helping us to get clear on a personal level, and that's what we've got to focus on, because that's the only thing that we can change. So we've got completion, which is the Four of Wands in Aries, as you can see. So it's looking at what's completing now in Pisces before we start the next solar wheel. And I'm doing a workshop on the 9th of April for women only. So we're really going to be focusing on our patterns and what's taking us off our soul path and keeping us stuck in this ancestral pattern. And of course, this isn't a hey presto, overnight transformation. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, on one level if it was. But how can that be real if you really think about it? We're all a work in progress. We're all at different stages. We're looking at how to create new beginnings every spring equinox. We're looking at this new moon coming up on April Fool's Day as well. So that is at 11 degrees. So again, dissonance. And I'm just going to read you that. And this matches where Chiron is in Aries right now, this degree. So it's gone to 11 degrees. So again, if you know your own personal chart, have a look at where these are affecting you. So Aries is always where we set sail and journey off on our new yearly adventure. So you're prepping now, you're getting your ship ready to leave the harbour, getting your supplies in, getting your maps in, where you're going to go, what are your dreams, what's your passion, what you're going to be looking at doing this year. So again, in terms of the Mayan cosmology, it can be really helpful to know what year of your 13-year cycle you're on. If you've got a big astrological event, such as your Saturn return, or your Uranus opposition, where you'll be really being pushed to get on your soul path, and how that works in terms of where your North Node is as well. So again, your North Node can be your map, your adventure, where you're headed for in this lifetime. And the more we become very aware of that, the more we can work consciously with that information. Sunlight illuminating dust in the air. The marvel is that the observer exerts so strong a presence, yet disappears into the atmosphere. You find yourself to be centrally pivotal, yet subtly underlying a pure witness to the objective turn of events. You inhabit the edge between self-will and a higher will. You hold the sharp borderlines between the infinite and the finite, so that you can create yourself anew out of whole cloth. Transformation can take many forms. You are endowed here with the power of wishing, the capacity to visualize and imagine whatever comes next. An astounding skill at coming back to life, recreating everything, taking into your self-world's ending and world's beginning, all is poised within. A way of looking at things that magnifies the wonder and overcomes all of the dross, in a strong quest to find yourself amidst the debris of lost worlds and to salvage the dream and the vision. Wow, this is just amazing stuff, isn't it? So if you think back, we've had 5 moons, new moons at 12 degrees, helping us to get clear, crystal clear. Number 12, yellow human, is the Mayan sign, that's the 12th sign. It's all about us as a human being, as I said yesterday, was the manifestation of that. So notice where you were rather than everybody else. How are you feeling? How are you responding to other people who are challenging you in some way, maybe trying to tempt you back to an old storyline of disempowerment, maybe narcissistic, patterning behavior. This is what always happens, where we get tested by our universal self. Remember, we are part of the universe, saying, you know, do you want to carry on with this story? I know it's your comfort zone. You're really well versed in this. All your ancestors have been great at this. So, you know, you don't want to leave the party, do you? So just notice where you may have felt a bit wobbly, maybe, because remember, as we start to come out of the comfort zone, it can feel very strange to the ego and the emotional mind. And it's essential that we keep challenging ourselves and growing on a spiritual level, expanding our conscious awareness and becoming more in alignment with truth, in alignment with the galactic sun. So the challenge is 5 of Wands strife and how to master strife. And just as I'm saying that, my background music has gone off. I'm finding YouTube very challenging, actually, for the adverts at the moment. If you put something on and then it pauses after a while. So yes, just when you think you have perfected something and then something else comes along. So this constant reevaluation, and that's happening faster and faster now. So noticing how that makes us feel as well with the technology, and struggling for my mindset anyway to keep up with it, which I know I mention often in my videos. So we've got major arcana, which we've had recently, is the Chariot, and remembering that our soul is in our chariot, human being. And I'll post a link for that as well. You can see he has Cancer on his head, the crab, and he has lots of armor on in his chariot. And so again, this is number 7, which is blue hand. shaping our destiny, and removing our armor, removing how we've protected our heart, how we've been stuck in codependent behavior in the past. That's the key to when we're ready to do that, of course, and how to keep our hearts open when we're feeling challenged. Often it's easy to shut down. So the 10 of discs is also a process, and I will post a link to that. So just have a think about what's happened to you over the past 10 days. For me, as I've talked about in my videos before, I am following the path of my matriarchal grandmother, who is a red Skywalker, a red crystal Skywalker. And that is becoming very clear to me. Also, when I began this journey with Zolkin, when I got my first calendar and I started moving the blue tack every day, that was red Skywalker Wavespell. And I'm in my 11th year of it. So it began in 2011. And so it's just all magical. Once you start to put the jigsaw pieces together, it helps awareness of what we are working with. I'm in my 13th year of Blue Hand, so I'll be going into Yellow Human on my birthday this year. And again, I haven't worked in this way for a long time, but I got information about that. So intuitively, it's a great time for getting those intuitive insights. So all of my Yellow Human years have been completed now, and I have a record of them. And of course, they go in a spiral. They don't go from 1 to 13 in a linear fashion, because this is all about the spiral and the circles and other things needing to come in, pop in, to take us to different places, and then how that comes together, how that shapes together. And that's the true nature of things, is the circles, the cycles, and aligning with these natural ways of being, which we have spun so far away from. The next 52-day cycle will be coming up after this next 13-day cycle in Yellow Warrior, the warrior of the heart. And so if you want to join that on the 28th of March, please contact me as soon as possible. So again, this is for women only, and women who are ready to look deeply and work on a very deep level around becoming aware of patterns, healing the heart, and working very consciously in the world today. That's what we came here for at this time. So I'll put a link underneath so you can message me and we can set up a chat where we can focus on what is looking to gain clarity and illumination for you. So lots of love. I hope you have an amazing day today of this wonderful conjunction and seeing heaven on earth and how you have created that. Lots of love.